night, cakers and bakers. It's Kat from Kat's Cakes, and tonight I'm going to be making this amazing cake topper. And if you have time, hang out with me. But before we get started, I'm going to get my coffee so that I can get all caffeinated up and have the energy so I can get through tonight. Lots of cakes ahead of me. And grab my headset so I can get my tunes on, and that way we can whistle while I work. And while I'm doing that, please hit the subscribe button so that I can continue to make videos like this, and smash that notification bell so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. You do that, I'm gonna get my coffee, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what do we need to get started? We're gonna get a pack of Saracino modeling paste. It's what we're going to use to build the model. The modeling paste is probably one of the best things to use when you're making models. But aside from that, we'll need a little piece of styrofoam. It doesn't really matter what size you use or anything like that, but I'm just going to use a round one because I just happen to have round ones. And a rolling pin uh, to roll out your paste into little pieces that you'll need to do decorating. Um, a pen knife so that you can cut out little details, and then this cat tongue. This is a Cerart tool. It's used for modeling. It has a little tip that's smooth and helps you get little details. And of course, my water pen. Not that's all that's in there is just water. That way, you can use that to stick things together. Now you can use gel, um, piping gel to stick things together, but the water works fine when you're using the Saracino paste. Alrighty, now that we've gone over what we need, we're gonna go ahead and get a little cornstarch down on the board. Um, that way when we start rolling stuff out, we make sure nothing sticks. One thing important to mention is do not use powdered sugar on the surface because it will make your product sticky. Instead of making it not stick, it'll have the opposite effect. So cornstarch. And I'm going to start manipulating the modeling paste. You do need to warm it up in your hands or either pop it in the microwave for a couple seconds. If you've watched my other videos, you know that the Saracino paste comes hard. So it's going to be hard to start, and you have to warm it up. Think Hershey bar, the chocolate in your hands. As soon as it starts to warm up, it becomes soft and melty. So you want to do the same thing with this because it does have cocoa butter in the product, so in the paste. So that's one of the things that helps it to set up faster. And so we got to warm it up to get it soft and pliable, and that way we'll be able to use it. So I've taken a piece and I've rolled it into like a log. We got it into a log shape, and it's just a little rounded here at the bottom. And then that way, we're starting to form the body of the cow. And I've just rolled it until I got it where I want it. And then I'm going to cut off the portion that I don't need. Now, I don't want the cow to be super tall, so we're going to cut off part of it. And let's see, right about there. That's good. Um, so now I'm just going to smooth out this top part, smooth it, continue to work with it and make sure it's nice and smooth and rounded. We don't want it to be like one shaped log, like one log, I'm sorry, one thickness. We do want it to be more rounded in the body and then thinner at the neck. So that's all I'm doing is just thinning it out a little bit at the neck and rounding it out more at the bottom. So it looks like it's the belly and the bottom, and then making sure that the neck portion is flat on the top so that when we put the head on, it has a place to sit. Um, so I'm just, again, just manipulating it a little bit. I do want it to be able to sit up, so I'm flattening out the bottom just a little bit. And again, just flattening out that neck. So just keep working with it till you get it how you want it. Um, One thing about this Saracino paste is that it will set up really quickly. So I don't have to worry about, like, if I just use fondant to make this and I try to roll this log out, it would start to bottom out, meaning that the fondant would start to sag and you'd end up with more of a ball instead of this tall um, shape that I've made. But see, because it has the cocoa butter in it, it's sitting up more. It's because it's set faster. But yeah, so this is kind of the shape I want. Um, and I'm just gonna lay it down here so you can kind of have a little bit of a reference as to the size. It's about um, maybe about 2 inches tall, maybe. Um, each one of these squares on the mat is an inch, so it's about 2 inches tall. And I think overall, um, looking for the figure to be about 4 inches tall. Now, if you want it to be smaller, then of course make a smaller shape. Make sure um your belly is a little bit shorter, and then your head will be about the same size as the belly. So if you want a 2 inch, then make this part 1 inch, and if you want a 4 inch, like I'm doing, then the belly will be 2 inches tall, and then we're gonna add about a 2 inch head on top. So, uh, and I'm just gonna set it up on this styrofoam. You can see that it's freestanding. It'll stand really well by itself there. Now I'm gonna roll out another log. This is gonna be for the legs and the arms, and so I'm just gonna roll this out till I think it's thin enough. Uh, Make, just like I said, another log, and then save enough of this kneaded paste for the head and um any other thing that I need to do. So I'll probably end up tinning some of it so that we can have for the spots, uh, and then the rest will stay white. So, like I said, we're just gonna keep on rolling. We'll roll this until we get it thin enough to be the arms and the legs. You can see about how thick it is now. But I think I need them just a little bit thinner than this. So I'm just going to keep on rolling. And notice that I am spreading from the inside to the outside. I'm kind of like running my hands from the center to the outside. And that's going to create a thinner center. Um, you do want it to be thinner, thin enough in the middle because that's where we're going to cut the arms, and then the thicker parts will be for the legs. So just keep working with it, working from center to outside, and that's just going to lengthen it, but also thin it out at the same time. Okay, so this looks like it's good enough. So with my blade, I'm gonna, uh, let's see, cut it right here, right in the center. And again, like I said, this is going to be arms and legs. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it again. And that will create the arms and the legs. Good. And that way they're all even. They're the same size arms, same size legs. So now I'm just going to take the fat end, which I said would be for the legs, and I am going to roll it to a little point. So you see, I'm just going to squeeze the fat end, just squeeze it till I make like a little point on the end. Um, and the purpose of this is because eventually I will make an indentation or a hole or with a tool in the body, and I'm going to insert this point into the hole. And that's so that instead of just joining this leg on the outside, where it has the possibility of breaking off, um, if I stick this little point into the actual body, it will actually be connected not just on the outside, but it will be connected on the inside as well. So I made a little point, and I'm gonna get my little tool. This is another tool that I have. I think this came from a Wilton set. Not this ball tool, I'm sorry. Um, let me see if I can find the right one. This is it. Okay. So see, it has a little pointed end, kind of cone shaped. Yeah, I think it came from a Wilton set, but at any rate, it's a PME tool. Uh, and I'm just gonna figure out which side is the front. And once I do, I'm gonna poke into the side where I want to insert the leg. So right about here is good. And I'll just not put the whole tool in. Usually, don't do that. But just poke a little hole, just enough to insert that little tip. And I'm gonna do it on both sides. So since I know that I'm gonna put the other leg on too, we don't want him to have a disability or her to have a disability. So we're going to make sure she's got two legs. So go ahead and put the hole on the other side too. Um, and then I'll take my water pen, and then this one you just squeeze. You squeeze it till you get a little water in the brush. So I'm just gonna check or make sure that we got water in the brush first. So you just squeeze it. I got a little water, not soaking wet, but enough to just wet in the hole. Again, put that inside the hole. And now I'm gonna put my little tip in. And there you go. So inserted it into the hole, and now I'm just pressing it up against the side to make sure that it's secure. I'm going to go ahead and shape it. Like you can go ahead and curve it around, or if you wanted it to lay to the side, or you just want it to be straight, go ahead and shape it to where you want it to be. And now we'll get the other one. So grab the other fat side that I cut off, and I'm going to go ahead and shape the little tip. And insert it into the other hole. See? It's not that hard. Just, and I'm gonna bend it so that it wraps around a little bit, just like it makes, so it matches the other side. So, there you go. There you got the legs on. They're secure. You don't have to worry about them coming off, and it just gives it a little bit more security than just patching it on, sticking it onto the side of the body. But before we put the arms on, she needs a little tummy. So I've mixed a little bit of white with some pink, and um, I'm gonna roll out a little belly for her. So let me finish mixing this together, and then we'll roll that out. Okay, it's time for an apology. It probably won't be the last, but I profusely apologize. So, I lost some footage in between, um, making the body and legs and, where I am now. I don't know what happened. I don't know if my, battery died and I didn't catch it. But here we are. So, what I was going to say was before you put the arms on, you want to put anything on that would be covered by the arms. So that'd be the belly and that would be the spots. So I put the belly on. All I did was cut a oval and then trim it off and add that pink section for the belly. Um, and then I applied the arms the same way we did the legs. I rolled those little skinny pieces to a point. I used a little modeling tool to poke holes in the upper part of the body, and then I inserted them. And once they were on, I colored some white modeling paste to the tan color that I use for the spots. And those are just random pieces of gum paste that I flattened out into random shapes and applied them wherever I wanted a spot. And then I applied the little hooves. So that's what I'm doing now is placing the hooves. And those were just little balls I rolled out of the same tan color. I flattened them out a little bit and I put one on the end of each leg and one on the end of each arm and flattened them out just a little bit more so they'd be flat as if they were the bottom of the hoof. And applied them using a little water and stuck them to the ends. So that's where we are now. Again, I so apologize. This is what happens when it's late at night and you're tired and you are working on a figure and trying to record at the same time. Sometimes I catch it, sometimes I don't, and this particular time I did not. So again, I am sorry. But anyway, moving right along. We got the hooves on now, we've got the spots on now, and the belly. So what we need to do now is get ready to make the head. Okay, next thing next, gotta put some support in for the neck. So I just got a regular toothpick and I'm going to put it into the body. And this is going to hold up the head. So we'll wet the toothpick because again, anything that we want to stick to the modeling paste has to have some water on it. So we'll wet the toothpick, insert it into the body, and this will support the head. I try not to stick it all the way through because if they want to keep the model, then you don't want to have a toothpick sticking out the bottom, but just deep enough that it's through the main part of the model and then enough sticking out the top so that the head will sit on. Okay, so now I broke off a piece of Saracino modeling paste and I'm just gonna roll it into a ball kind of oval, think egg shaped. Most people have an egg-shaped head, and most models do too. So, I'm just making sure that I don't have any cracks or gaps in it, smoothing it out. I apologize, it's a little bit off camera, but trying to keep everything in frame, guys. But anyway, right about the center of that egg, you want to make an indentation across the front. That's going to be your eye line. Most people, animals, etc., um, have their eyes right about the center of the head. So I just took a small rolling pin and made an indentation. That's where my eyes. I'm just gonna tell myself this is my eye line. I'm gonna smooth out any extra dents that were formed when I did that. But see, now I'm in frame, so now you can see what I did. So you see it's an egg shape. I've made that dent right here in the center. I'm just smoothing it out and also kind of trying to shape the head a little bit more. Like I want my jawline, I know, to be a little bit less pointed. Um, the cow's gonna have a snout, so kind of pushing that extra gum paste at the bottom upwards so that it sticks out a little bit more than the rest of the face. So now it's a little bit more protruding. Um, and I have the area marked for where I want the eyes and then squaring up the jaw a little bit. And then now I'm just going to check to make sure that it's the right size. And yeah, it looks good. So I think we're good. Just again, smoothing out any areas that I don't want to look sharp, rounding out the head a little bit more. Okay, so now I know that I want the snout to be that pinkish color. So I'm going to need a little bit more of that. And then I think we want to put a little spot around his eye. So after I need this, I think I need a little bit more of that beige color, just so I can get that spot ready. But yeah, this is the pink color that we used for the belly. I'm just gonna need that and get it ready to put on for this now. Okay, so here's that gold color, tan color that I used for the spots. I'm gonna wet the area around the eye. I just took a little piece of that tan color, like I said, just like I did for the spots. I'm gonna smash it down a little bit, flatten it out, and I'm gonna apply it right here over that right eye. A little bit. Yeah, I think this is good. And then I'm gonna take my cat's tail tool, cat's tongue, I'm sorry, cat's tongue tool, cat's tail. That's the little flower weed that grows, the little brown weeds. But anyway, the cat's tongue tool, like I said, it's used for blending and smoothing things out. So I'm going to just drag this out to make my spot look a little irregular. and smooth it down so it's not sticking out. Make it look like it's flat against um the fur, and just moving it down over the snout, over the eye line, but again, just trying to drag it out, make it look irregular. And once you have that the way that you want it, we're gonna put the snout on. Just using my fingers here just to flatten it out even more. I really just didn't want it to be sticking out. And now for that snout, I think that looks pretty good. That spot looks good. Okay, so I'm rolling a piece of the plush color, that pinky colored um gum paste that I made for the belly. I'm just gonna make it into like an oval shape. Make sure there's no cracks in it, and kind of smash it out. Flatten it out a little bit. Wet the area with the water. And notice I didn't make it completely flat because we do want it to stick out a little. Um, but I did flatten it out some. Try to make it into an oval. Got my little rolling pin here, and I'm gonna flatten it even more. I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get it into a general shape, oval shape, and thin enough that it will fit over that area that I've created for the snout. And I'm sizing it up now. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna just wrap it around. That's creating that nose area that's usually pale on cows. And I think that's pretty good, but I'm gonna take my rolling pin and I'm gonna try to smooth it out a little bit more right in that eye line. I don't want it to be I don't want there to be a hump there, but I think that looks pretty good. Just really just wanted to make sure that my indentation didn't change, because that's where my eyes are gonna be, and also create more of a separation there. And I know it seems like that I spend a lot of time smoothing things out, and fiddling with things. Like, okay, it's on, leave it alone now. Eh, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm kind of like a perfectionist. There's so many things that you can do to make things look so much better, and like sometimes it's hard to put things down and just be happy with them. And so I will keep fiddling with something and just keep messing with it until it looks like how I see it looking. Um, and sometimes being extra critical of your own work is just um you could continue to work on something forever, but when you have time constraints, you have to move on. So, um, I'm gonna try to finish messing with this here, but um, as you can see, I still haven't put it down. But just trying to make sure that that area is like really super smooth. I don't want a hump to be there. I don't want there to be a line between those two colors. So I was just trying to make sure that it was super smooth. But anyway, that looks pretty good to me. Um, all right, so now I'm gonna just take the end of this small rolling pin and I'm gonna create the little nostrils. I'm trying to figure out where to put them in relation to the eyes. So I think right here on the outside, on each side would be good. So yeah, that looks pretty good, but just try to make sure they're even. So now I was going back and forth between should I make some eyes or I have these little balls. They're just little black beads, little black pearls. I think these will work fine for the eyes. I'm just gonna put one here and see how I like it. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work good. So I'm gonna put one in each little eye socket area. Gosh, they're so small. You can use tweezers for this, guys. I'm just too lazy to get out the tweezers. I'm just gonna stick them in there. And if you press them in, they pretty much will hold. So this Saracino paste is not dry yet. It's still moist enough that you can put stuff in and it will hold. It will stick to it. So I'm just pushing these in. So now she has two eyes. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, she's coming out kind of cute. It's so funny how things start to take shape once they have eyes. Like I think whenever I'm working on little figures or models, toppers for cakes, I think I always never really know how they're gonna look until I put the eyes in it. I think the eyes can change it up completely. So, if I would have just put eyelashes on here, or if I would have made full eyes, or just using these black little pearls, each one of those things would have made it look completely different. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try to put it on the head now, put on the head now. So I'm looking at where I want to position it, and you want the chin to always be outside the body, so forward, always forward some on the body. So I'm gonna go ahead and wet that neck area, um, and the toothpick. And this is one thing too that I want to mention, that you always want to make sure that the toothpick area that you have for the head is going to be long enough. I mean, like I said, push it down into the body, but also you want to make sure that it's going to be long enough, but not too long that it's going to stick out the top of the head. So I'm going to just put this on. I think press it where I want it. And you can see that I have the snout forward on the body, so it's sticking out. If you look at your side profile, look at yourself in the mirror, your side profile, your chin's forward. It's not even with your neck. So you always want to push the head forward, the chin part forward, or the snout forward when you put it onto the body. But also you can play around with how it's sitting on there. Like you can tilt it to the side a little bit. Like I think I like her tilted just a little bit. It gives a little bit more expression, and especially when you're doing like baby figures, like babies are always like kind of their heads are kind of tilted a little bit, um, sometimes straight up and down, but I think it just makes it so much cuter when they're like a little tilted. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good. So now it's right about time for her to be able to hear. I think she needs some ears. So I'm gonna just take some of this white Saracino that I have left over, knead it out a little bit, and I'm gonna poke a hole where I think the ears should go. They're usually off to the side a little bit. So put one here and then try to match that spot on the other side of the head. And put one right here. Okay, so just like the legs and the arms, you poke the little hole, you wet at the inside of the hole. So I'm just gonna grab my water pin and wet the inside of the hole a little bit. And I'm gonna take my white pieces, and all I did was just roll like a little cone shape and then press in the inside of it to make the little inside part of the ear. And then I'm going to stick the little tip part into the hole, just like I did with the arms and the legs. Pinch the ear a little bit at the top, and now we have a little ear. So I did that for two, did made two of them. Just make two. Always make two. And in goes the second ear. And I guess you can play around with the positioning of them. Um, I don't know, do I want them sticking out on the sides? Or do I want to fold them over a little bit? Do I want them sticking straight up? You can decide. I think I like them sticking out right here. I may change that before it's over with. But again, it's up to you how you want the ears. You can play around with them. You just don't want to take away from the overall look. And cows' ears, like they're just like little pointy little things that stick out on the sides. They're not um they're not bunny ears. They're not gonna be like popping out of the top. Um so you want to stay true to the animal, but also make it cute. So there she is, got the little ear sticking out. Okay, so what do we have left? She needs a tail and she needs some horns. I don't know, do girl cows have horns? Maybe I should have Googled that. Does it really matter? I mean, I don't know. Maybe yeah, if we're gonna be anatomically correct, but I don't know. So I think I'm gonna give her horns because I think they always have those little nubs if they don't have horns. I haven't been close enough to a cow to really know, so I'm gonna just decide. I think it looks cute or it doesn't look cute. So I think I'm gonna just roll out some horns, and if it looks cute, she's gonna get them, and if it doesn't look cute, then she's not gonna get them. I don't know, but so maybe somebody can answer that. Like maybe in the comments, do girl cows have horns? Or is it just like bulls? Or I know bulls have horns and grab the bull by the horns, like that kind of thing. But do cows have them, or do they just have like little nubs? I don't know. Somebody Google it. Somebody put it in the comments and let me know. I don't think they do, but if it looks cute, she's gonna have them. How about that? Because it's my figurine, so that's what we're doing. But you know what I think she needs also, just to make it a little bit cuter? Maybe some little bangs. So I gotta still have some of that tan left over. What I think I'm gonna do is create some little bangs at the top, some little spiky bangs. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Let's try that. So I'm gonna roll some teardrop shapes. Um, and just look and see if I like it. If not, again, she won't have them. If it looks good, she'll get them. If it doesn't, she won't. So a little teardrop shape, and I'm just gonna put a little twist on the point of it and lay that up there. Well, I think that's kind of cute. So let's make a couple more of those. I'm gonna take my Dresden tool, that's this tool with a little pointy end, and I'm gonna make a couple little lines in it to simulate fur, and just drag the tool. That's how you make the lines and the indentations. And yeah, that's cute. She needs a little bit more, so let's make a couple more little teardrops and we'll add those on. Actually, before we put the rest of that fur, those bangs on, I think I'm gonna put the horns on. So I'm gonna poke the holes I need. One here and then I guess one to match on the other side. But I rolled out the brown just like I did with the bangs into a teardrop shape. And then I created a point on both ends so that we could insert it in the hole. You know, anytime we attach something, we make a little hole for it. And then we wet the inside of the hole and then stick the point into the hole. So that way we have double connection, water and an insertion into the actual figurine so that it's not just on the outside. I'm just gonna shape it how I want it. I think that looks good. Looks like a little horn. Yeah, looks good. And then we'll make one for the other side. And I'm doing this this way because um before I put all those bangs there, I want to make sure that I have everything placed the way that I want it placed. Sometimes the bangs will overlap, you know, and lay on top of other things. So you always want to put what goes underneath on first. So that's why I went back and I said, let me just go ahead and put these horns on. But anyway, I'm going to put the second horn in here. I've made the hole again, making a little point on both ends of the teardrop. And I'm going to put the pointy end in the hole and then shape it the way I want it. So get that other brown piece and stick it in right here. And now see it's sticking straight up. Oh, go ahead and bend that. And that looks good. They look about even. They're both turned in. They look like horns. Oh, cute. Okay, so again, I don't know if she was supposed to have those or not, but since they're cute, guess what? She's keeping them. So I also think she needs, just so that we do know she's a girl, since I put those horns on her, I think she needs a bow. So I have this bow mold, and I'm out of frame again. I apologize. I told you sometimes you don't really know you're out of frame. It seems like you're in frame because I feel like I'm working so close to the figure that it's got to be on camera, right? But then you find out that it's not. So I apologize again for being out of frame. But I have a bow mold. It's just a silicone mold, and I'll try to find a link to it. I'll try to put a link to it in my description. I got it. I think I got it on Amazon, but it has like all these really cute little bows. And if you're gonna be doing a lot of models, especially girls, girl figures or girl animals or whatever, then it probably would be to your benefit to get one. But anyway, I think it was really inexpensive too, anyway. And it makes perfect little bows. So I'm just rolling a piece of pink modeling paste and pressing it into this silicone mold, which you can't see. Um, but again, I will try to find put a link to it in the description, but you just press it and you shape it. You fill the mold with the modeling paste and um I try to like press it into the mold, and then if there's any extra, I'll take it back out, pinch off what I don't need, put it back in. So you don't overfill it because I don't feel like trimming off edges. So I think sometimes I'd rather underfill these things than overfill them. But anyway, I've seen other people use them and they'll just press it in there and then trim off what they don't need when they pull it out. I don't want to have to trim it, so I'm gonna press it in. If there's too much, I'll take off what I don't need and then roll it back into a ball, put it back into the mold again, and that way I don't have to end up trimming it at the end. But anyway, and eventually, voila! So I pull it out of the mold. Oh, there you can see a little bit of it now. Um, So it's this little pink silicone mold that you can see kind of the very bottom of the screen. But anyway, I'm gonna wet the area, then I'm gonna put it on, put it in, and see, look at this cute little perfect pink ball. I'm gonna place it right there, and voila! Look how cute. Now she's a girl for real. Unless she's a boy with a pink bow, which is possible. Um, but so cute. And then just play around with like making sure that the horns are still how I want them, the ears are still where I want them. Um, you can lift up on the corners of the bow to make it more 3D if you want to. Like bent my horn and place that back how I want it. Okay, now the only thing I think she's missing, um, that I think I usually do for anyway for girls is I think she needs some lashes. She's got a bow, but I'm gonna add some lashes. Um, so I have these fractal um paint pens. They're food safe, they are edible. I sell them on my website. The fractal pens are awesome. I use them all the time. So it's just like a little marker, edible marker. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Edible marker. But it has a very fine tip and so you can make little detail you can do little designs or little detail work that you would use a fine brush for. So I use them to make lashes on my figures, um or details on if I'm drawing like little fine details on a ruffle or on a wing or something like that, and I would have to show you what I mean, but um for now I'm just going to draw her lashes on. Just like putting your eyeliner on at home, girls. You just gotta be really careful that you follow the water line. How many people poke themselves in the eye when you first started putting eyeliner on? I know I did like 1,000 times. Like waterline, yeah, I made my own waterline because I poked myself in the eyeball and I started to cry. But anyway, once you get used to it, you'll or once you get to the point where you're tired of getting stuck in the eyeball, either way, you eventually get to the point where you can draw your liner on. It's the same thing with these. I don't know why I just thought about that, but it's the same thing with making lashes on these things. Just draw the little line, and suddenly she has eyelashes. The hard part for me is not putting them on, um, but copying them on both sides, making sure they match. So usually I can get one side on like really good, and then I have to try to turn the figure some kind of crazy direction or angle just so that I can get the lashes to match up on both sides. I guess that's kind of the same thing as doing it on yourself in the mirror. Yeah, see, that's why I've taken it out of frame because I've got to turn it like into a weird angle or bring it close to me so that I can match them. I can't just like draw them both equally the same, even um with it being so far away or in the same position. So yeah, I've got to pick it up and bring it close to me and then draw the other two on. And even then, even still, they won't be perfectly matching. I don't know too many people who can get them perfect on both sides, especially if they're painting them or drawing them. But it I get them close enough, so and I'm happy with it. So that's what we do. Okay, so now that I've got the eyelashes on, I've taken a little dusting powder in just like a fuchsia color, and I'm just gonna highlight some of the pink areas. So I'm gonna dust her belly, her snout, the little indentations in her ears, and the bow. And it'll just give it a little bit more color. So just right here in the belly and any other area that I just want highlighted. So, I know it doesn't seem like it would make that much of a difference, but by taking a little of the dusting colors and um, hitting those little areas, it actually adds so much to the actual figurine. It gives a little bit more life, a little bit more color, and it just to me is like the putting icing on the cake, like the little extra that you do that makes it look super cute. And there she is. How about that? Isn't she adorable? Oh my God. Sometimes I make these things and I just want to keep them, but she's got to go on a cake, and I've got to make a few more of them, different ones. It's going to be a farm cake. So if you stuck with me this far and you watched me make her, look at that. Look how cute. Um, then you'll probably want to hang out and see how I make the rest of the farm animals. Um, see how that color just really enhanced her nose and stuff. But anyway, yeah, you'll probably want to stay tuned and watch me make the rest of the farm animals that go on the cake. Um, but yeah, it was a little barnyard cake, and so she's going to the farm. Oh, how cute. Okay, so you guys, again, here I go, playing with her even more, putting a little bit more powder. But yeah, when they're finished. But you can I will always continue to play with them. But there she is. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me. This is This is the color. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this is the color that I use to dust her. It's just that little fuchsia pink dusting color dust. But anyway, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And watch me make this super cute cow topper. And let's like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I make the next video. Have a good night, y'all.